and welcome to the Coach's Corner with Sharia and
Sherry.
We are talking self-inventory and self-reflection to gain insight, and we're going to give you 3 ways that you can deal with that area. Let's go.
All right, so the first thing is that you want to identify your areas of concern. And so this is going to take you taking the time to look at yourself, look at your thought patterns, to look at how you engage the people around you, to determine if you're happy with the way that you are navigating life. And if not, then you have to identify what areas are needed when it comes to you changing and growing and being able to engage yourself and also the people around you in a better and healthier way.
All right, so when we talk areas, let's make it some areas that are very clear. Some examples I would think would be our interpersonal skills, how we interact with others, as Sherry was saying. Some areas would be our self-love or self-esteem. How do we deal with taking care of ourselves or seeing ourselves? Another area might be our financial literacy or ability to do things right financially. And I don't want to say right or wrong because that's kind of a value system. Our ability to have our goals met financially and what kind of insight we need about how we feel about money or think about money. And then some other areas could also include friendships, again, or that's interpersonal, education, intellectual. It could be a number of areas, but we want you to find one.
Yes.
Remember, we talked about this in the goal setting. We want you to find one to start with so that you can do the next step, which is to
now take some action. And so with that, you have to identify the resources you're going to need first before you take action. And so identifying the resources that you need, this may involve talking to a friend in order to have accountability. Depending on the depth or the seriousness of the area that you need to grow in, you may need to work with a licensed professional. So if it's a financial goals that you have, you may need to actually go and work with an accountant or get a financial advisor. If it's related to your mental and emotional wellness, you may need to see a licensed therapist. If it's your physical health, you may need to go and schedule that appointment with your primary care doctor or another specialist in order to get the proper tips that you need and treatment and medication possibly in order to support your goals now when it comes to improving the areas of concern.
Yeah, so it's really important to, once you identify the areas, understand the areas that that you plan to deal with, get one and really be strong and decisive on that one area, because one thing at a time is always going to be more successful than trying to multitask multiple goals. Once you do that, then identifying the supports that you need to make sure that as you're moving towards this next goal or next step, you're able to do it in the best way possible, which is to have the right support. So then you would go on to number 3, and it is
taking action. So now that you've already pointed out and you specified where the areas are you want to grow, you've identified the proper resources to now support you to grow in that area. Now it's time to put it into practice. You don't want to just stop at having the knowledge and knowing what to do without actually doing it. And you want to just make goals that are going to enable you to be able to make progress on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, and make sure that you give yourself the time frame to do it. Don't try to rush to meet a goal in 1 month. That you really need to take 12 months to be able to go. For instance, even when it comes to financial goals, if you have had debt that you've built, over the course of 5 years, it's going to be a little challenging to get rid of that in just 1 week, right? And so you want to make sure that the timetable is in alignment with your goals so that you give yourself the time that you need to actually meet it and to achieve it.
All right. So you're really reflecting on how do I take action that is realistic? And right when we talked about going back to the SMART goal again, when we think about that realistic part, really how realistic, but what action steps can I take to move forward towards my goals that are realistic to where I am financially, if that's where area we're working on, where I am physically, if that's the area I'm working on, and where I am emotionally, and if that's the area I'm working on. Being able to really identify, after gaining the knowledge of who's supposed to be your support, what steps can I actually take that is realistic for me to be able to achieve that change in a specific area that I've gained insight in. And so I feel like when we talk about self-reflection or self-inventory, people will get so caught up on what's wrong or right with them that we want to make sure that you are balancing that ability to care for yourself during this time and change. So not beating yourself up, not trying to make yourself feel worse about areas that you're trying to improve, but looking at every step of success as part of the success and really almost being your own, and hopefully your accountability partner, whoever or whatever identified support you have, will give you that ability to also celebrate the process and not just the result. Yes. And so that becomes really important to me, just when we think about self-reflection and self-inventory, not to only look at it as a negative, but how do I get this change as a positive towards growth?
Yeah, definitely. Success is a journey, not necessarily a destination. Yes. Now, if you make it just about success being a journey, then you can enjoy the process and also acknowledge the growth that you're having, even though you haven't met your ultimate goal yet.
Yes. And before we go, we are definitely going to tell you to join us on our different websites. You can find Sherry at sherrywary.com. And you can find Sharia Farmer at shariafarmer.org, or you can find us both at rswellness.org, right. Where we are doing the work under the counseling agency, but we're also doing our individual work that is trying to help the community. Again, Sherry has an awesome program out right now, and she's not self-promoting, so I'm going to promote. Talk about the accountability partner coming up and showing that you need to make sure you're doing your goal, which is Sherry has a Walking Through the Pain course that's 21 steps to practical wellness.
Yes.
And it is available now. I am so sorry you guys missed the month-long discount, because now it's at its normal price. You guys, I think it is totally worth every cent. So go out, check it out. You can find it on her website. You can find it on mine, and you can find it on. We will make sure you can find it.
Right? Put a link
and
to
I will make sure to actually make sure our information is below for you guys to at least get to both of our websites as well. All right, you guys, take care
and be well.
Mm-hmm.